Welcome into the program, everybody. This is Alabama Unfiltered Radio. I'm Scott Beason. It is a beautiful day here in the heart of God's country. I say beautiful. It's not pouring down rain. It's not super sunny, but it is an awesome day. It is the 29th day of May in the year of our Lord, 2026. I hope you've had a good morning, and I hope the last 21 hours have gone well as well. I'm feeling good. Big Sky Mountain Mosley is making sure that we can broadcast to as many people across the world as we possibly can. We got the YouTubes going. You can find it over at Scott Beason. Once you find the channel, you still have to search for live, and then you will be able to find the stream. It all seems to be working correctly, and people have requested that we put the phone number up more times, and let me see if I can do that for y'all over on YouTube. Yes, there is the phone number at the bottom of the screen, so you will like that. Sky, how are you this morning?
I'm well, thank you.
Now, I can probably talk for 5 or 10 minutes if you need to go do something quickly.
No, I just had to get rid of it's funny. The phone call always comes in about 45 seconds before we need to start.
Oh, that's the way. That's the way it is. No doubt about it.
Nothing all morning.
Let's start with something that just occurred to me. I was talking to the world famous Jared, who runs a lot of the stuff up here at the headquarters before the show started, and oftentimes we're discussing political matters, what's going on, what's happening, what are the dynamics, what are things that people, that people are trying to do and people are not trying to do. And during that conversation this morning, it occurred to me that oftentimes we look at politics through the lens of us normal people, okay, us not plugged in people. Look at politics through, hey, this is what should happen. This is what should happen that will benefit everybody. And look, I'm stuck in that mindset. When people talk about economic development projects for the state of Alabama, I have always been one to say, look, why are we not building, instead of planting seeds and watering and spending taxpayer money and making sure everything's right over here at this sector, this economic sector, these types of businesses, or this individual business will do well because we're going to nurture it. We're going to make sure that Acme Inc. has everything it needs. We're going to use state funding to train the employees of Acme Inc., and we're going to give them tax breaks, and we're going to do all this stuff, and yay, some Alabamians are hired by Acme Inc., and they're going to pay them. Look, I have voted for those kinds of projects, but I've always believed that the best way to have economic growth in your state is to build a greenhouse or to put the materials, put the fertilizer in the ground, put the minerals in the ground, put the till the soil, make sure we have some water, so that anybody and everybody, from the giant corporation to the small guy wanting to start a hot dog stand, so that everybody has a chance to flourish. I've always been fascinated by this idea of, well, look, we're going to give tax breaks to these folks over here because they're in the, I don't know. I'm just going to make something up. I'm not saying there was ever one of these. They're in the, what's something that comes to mind? Pressure-treated wood. I don't know. I mean, not many people do that. I'm just saying. And that's kind of how it always works. But why not create a situation where everybody in general says, hey, look, that's just the place to go do business. That's the place to start a business. That's the place that is friendly to entrepreneurship. It doesn't matter if you've got one employee, two employees, you're self-employed, or you have 5,000 employees. Alabama is a great place to live and work and run your business. I've always felt like that doing it across the board was the best way to do it. Now, you might not see the gains. You can't go out and say, we've created 300 jobs like all the elected officials in Alabama like to do, especially governors. But just having an environment where everyone can succeed, I've been partial to that. Well, during this discussion that we were having about politics and this, that, and the other, it was brought up that, a lot of times people do things not for the advantage, but not to be shut out. Look, if you need something for the government, you don't want to be shut out. You want to be able to have access, is what they call it. Do you have access to the governor? Do you have access to the president? Do you have access to the cabinet members? Do you have access to the bureaucrats? Will your U.S. senator call somebody over at the Department of Nothingness and say, hey, yeah, Scott's going to call over there. If you can help them, help them. Access. And it occurred to me that, and I was telling him about a conversation I had years and years ago when I was first elected to the legislature. I may have told y'all on this show. I was sitting at some function. There was a long-time lobbyist sitting to my side. I like the guy. Sitting on one side. And somehow, I don't know if it was during the speech or the presentation or if it was just while we were all, eating lunch or whatever it was we were doing, there was some sort of conversation brought up about these projects that the state was awarding to whatever. And I was like, I don't understand. Why are they awarding these projects to so-and-so or this person? I didn't know any of these people, but I knew the project was being awarded and the project was costing way more than it should cost. All right, that didn't take rocket science. That didn't take experience. And this person got very angry with me and began to lecture me. And I'm young. I was first elected to the House when I was 28, so I'm young in that world. And about how I didn't understand that the goal was that that's what you do. You give all this projects, all this business to the people who help get you there. And I said, all right, look, I'm not even going to disagree with that. But my understanding would be, okay, we've got a project. We've got this deal that we've got to have done. And my good friend Sky has bid $250,000, okay? Your friend has bid, instead of $250,000, he bid $253,000. If the bids are very, very close, if the bids are basically the same, I completely understand. Scott, I think it needs to be down to the penny. Fine. I get you. Whatever. But I completely understand some political leader. I'm not saying it's pure, but I understand them saying, hey, these are the same. This is the same thing. We're going to have the same outcome. Everything's the same. My friend's getting it. I see that completely. I didn't say it was pure. Like I said, I didn't say it was pure. But what is funny to me about politics in America these days, it seems as if the friend can be 10, 20, 30% higher and still get the job because you dance with those who brung you. And then this occurred to me, and this is what this whole discussion is about. It's not about fighting about whether or not it needs to be down to the dollar, okay? I said, remember a number of the founding fathers said they believed in a limited government. And I said, what is not taught in this country is that limited government didn't just mean, oh, we just want a small government. We just want a small government. No, limited government meant they wanted a government that could not, it was too small to reward you, and it was also too small to punish you, and it never would have enough power that you had to worry about being froze out and not having access. It was never meant to be something that I had to dance in front of and perform for and hope that it was happy with us so that we could thrive as citizens. That's what it was about. And it has become a rewards and punishment program. And along with the rewards, hey, I just want a special deal. I just need to be able to do this. The government should do it. The government should be for my project. It becomes big enough also to punish you. And we've missed it. We missed it completely. We got to take a break. Lots of stuff to do. maybe it all won't be philosophy today because there are some good stories out there. We'll be back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Well, we're back, everybody. Thank you for listening. Don't forget the podcast. We're going to actually play part of one of Brian Dawson's podcasts, maybe on the show today. It kind of goes with what's going on in one of the statewide elections that's going on. We might get to that. I don't know. But don't forget, it's called 1819 News, the podcast. You can check it out over at YouTube or any of the other places that you find your podcast. You'll enjoy it. You'll like it. 1819 News, the podcast with Brian Dawson. And let's go out to, we have an expert on the phone who is a big AI guy, a prepper, and a radio person. Big Dave. Big Dave, welcome to the program.
What's going on, brother?
How are you, man?
I'm doing great. How many cameras do you have on you?
We don't know yet. We're still figuring it out.
I think I have two. Why?
Two? Oh, okay. So that's why you look like you weigh 400 pounds. I'm just kidding. As a person that is a big guy. Come on now. You know I got to give you grief.
Yeah, I mean, look, I can't make the computer figure out how to run 3 cameras because it won't turn 2 of the identicals on every day, but I can turn the whole thing off and turn it back on and a different camera come on. So we're running with the 2 that are working. It's all about content, brother, content.
I can say that it looks great up here in Birmingham.
Well, we appreciate it. I wish we had had it done earlier for so many of those listeners there in Birmingham and Central Alabama, but we didn't. So please spread the word for us while you can up there.
We are, the more the merrier. And speaking of AI, it is going to take over eventually. But I'm going to tell you, as a 60-something-year-old man, I know more about AI than most of these 20-somethings.
You know, I don't disagree with you on that. And after talking to you a few weeks ago, I've become more interested in what it can do for me and what it can help do. And I've told I've talked to Sky during the break about it is fascinating what it will do. Now, I still get the hibby-jibbies. I'm still bothered by the fact that even the guys who created it, quote unquote, created it, are like, we don't know how this works. I still think there's a chance, and I think people roll their eyes. I still think there's a really good chance, way deep in its core, it's demonic. But it will do some fascinating things.
Do you really think it's demonic?
I really think, like I believe the same on some technology that we have, that there are entities who have been helping people advance technology in ways and fashions that we didn't naturally come up with it. Now, that doesn't mean I think a demon itself is inside the computer or answering the questions. But when you have developers across the board who are like, we don't really know how this works, and I've done enough research on some of the technological advances that we've had, whether it's in the space race and rocketry and energy and all this kind of stuff, a bunch of those cats were into all sorts of occult things and openly said that they came up with their ideas or how to make things actually work while they were in trances, while they were doing things that you and I wouldn't do around here.
Huh. I mean, it almost sounds like you think it's alien-based.
Yeah, because I think the aliens are I think the aliens are demons.
I mean, you do? I mean, I'm being serious.
No,
You
I'm
think
being
demons?
serious as well. When we see the little gray guys with the big eyes, I think they are referenced in Revelation where it says the whatever the creatures, the things look like frogs. I think that's what it's trying to describe. And don't forget Aleister Crowley, where he drew his picture of the being that gave him whatever knowledge, looks very similar to what we think the quote-unquote grays look like.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm going to have to research some of that. I mean, seriously, it's just like the first time I went to a new church, the preacher came over to me and said, hey, what'd you think about the sermon?
Right.
And I said, I don't know. And he said, you don't know? I said, it sounded good. I said, but I've got to go home and research it for myself.
Yeah, I got to go home and test the spirits. I got to see if what you said is actually biblical. Absolutely.
Right. And it kind of put him back. And I was like, I think everyone, you shouldn't believe I don't believe everything you say. Until I research it for myself, or a preacher, everything they say, I have to go and research it for myself. And I think that is one of the things that is wrong with society today. We take everybody's word for it.
Oh, we do. Social media, the whole 9 yards. Let me ask you this question then, because I know you're involved in this. What do we do now that the tools that were supposed to make it easier to do research, and I did a big thing about this yesterday on the show, you go search for something on your favorite search engine, and it's clearly being manipulated. So if I tell you something that's completely true, and you say, well, I'm going to have to go research that, and you go research it, and they've decided that you don't need to be able to easily find what I told you, you're going to think I was lying to you.
Yeah, I heard you was talking about that yesterday, I think it was, or day before, because it'd be down on the third or fourth page.
Yeah, and now Google is going to move to having their AI-generated answer come first standard, which will push whatever documents that I may be referencing further down the search result.
Right. It's going to be harder. I mean, I know, like, you can even ask Sky. It used to be you had to have two references before you would put something out on the radio for news or whatever.
Right.
Verification.
yet now you have to have 8 or 10, because most people will take one report and they will just say the same thing in a different way 3 or 4 times off of that one report. They didn't go and research that one report.
Oh no, there's no doubt. I remember when the television stations used to be really bad. Now kind of they may be the cutting edge, but they would be really bad to just reword the newspaper report, and so you would end up with the newspaper report being false, and then all your local TV stations would run the same thing based on the newspaper report. So that's 4 faults, and then you go to your search engine the next week, and the first 5 results is the newspaper article and the 4 television stations that were all written by the same guy, and it was all false.
Right. I mean, you have to, when you go to research something now, even, like for my show that I do about self-reliant living and canning and stuff like that.
Right.
I was looking at something yesterday about pressure canning squash.
Which is a terrible thing to do. It's a terrible idea. Canned squash is terrible. It gets mushier and mushier.
You got to learn how to do it, but I'd rather water bath it anyway. But I would rather water bath it. But before 1988, it was a USDA alphabet government. You could do it,
right?
And now they are saying that you can't do it. And technology changes, and a lot of the stuff, especially in my world of canning and homesteading and stuff like that.
Right.
The alphabet government has come in and changed a lot of the stuff that you used to could do. Like now, we can't buy raw milk.
Right.
We can't drink it.
That's right.
Here in the States, and it just drives me crazy that the EPA and the government and all that gets into our business.
I'm with you. Hey, man, we got to go to break, Big Dave. I appreciate the call. We'll talk again soon.
All right, buddy. Bye-bye.
You got it. We got to take a break. We'll be back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. Let's get out to your phone calls. The number here, 1-800-289-9228, 1-800-289-9228. Let's go to Red Top. Red Top, welcome to the program. Happy Friday to you.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning, Red Top. How are you?
Oh, it's getting good and humid, starting to feel like it usually does.
Yeah, it's good for the skin.
So
good for the skin, good for the soul.
It is, so especially if you've lived in Arizona before, you appreciate every drop of moisture. We've been through that.
Yes.
Now, yesterday, I heard an hour-long documentary about AI and how much the bill is for it. And I've never even considered this.
Okay.
So apparently, AI costs money to use.
Yes.
More than a regular computer service.
Yeah, look, I don't know enough about it, but I know that you can get some stuff for free. It's like all of it on the internet. They'll give you some free, and you can use it a couple times for free, maybe a couple times a day for free, and then you got to have a subscription.
Yes, now the subscription bills are coming in, and people and businesses are freaking out. They're going, "Whoa, we had no." I don't think they've been disclosing how much it costs to people.
I'll tell you the other scary part of it, Red Top, is you can watch. I think it's what's the guy that runs BlackRock's guy? Fink. Is he Fink?
It's similar to that.
It's something like that. The BlackRock guy is
what an appropriate name.
Yeah, they're all talking about
you want it to be that.
How they're going to all do AI, but there's not enough money to do all AI. And so they're basically, you as a citizen, if you've got any money in savings or if you're in a retirement plan, if you thought you had a pension, all those funds are going to build out the AI infrastructure, whether you like it or not. And then if it collapses as an economic model, all that money's gone. Now, he didn't say that part. He just said that these big funds are going to be used to pay for the AI infrastructure, which is incredible amounts of money.
Larry Fink is the co-founder.
Larry Fink. That was it.
And I get a very strong deja vu here, the .com crash.
Oh, remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bubble.
Okay. This bubble is forming real fast, all the hype. You know, I didn't even consider the cost and what it was going to be as just this great new feature and all this kind of stuff. And they said a lot of these businesses they're going to cancel their subscriptions. Say, we don't need AI to do all this rudimentary stuff.
Yeah.
So people are going to get a come to Jesus moment when it comes to the bill that Jesus sends them.
I think what they're going to do is they're trying to, and this is the way I'm telling myself in my mind, that the AI plan, and they'll never say it this way. They say it way more eloquent. The AI plan for these businesses that are investing in AI is the Amazon model. Just keep going, keep paying the bill, keep losing money, keep losing money, keep losing money until it reaches a critical point where it basically takes over everything, and then it doesn't matter. But it's going to have to be on life support for a very long time until it reaches that point where it is actually more affordable to pay the AI subscription than it is to pay an employee. Because right now they're having to go like, wait a minute, I'm paying an employee and I got this AI subscription. This thing's expensive, so you got to keep the beast, for lack of terms, keep the beast alive until there's really no choice and no turning back, and then everybody will have to get on board, or you'll go out of business, or you'll be squeezed out, and then that's the way I see it in my mind, is that they'll have to keep it afloat until it takes over, which was the Amazon model, really.
You know, it sounds just like the electric car fairy tale, doesn't it?
Kind of does,
They're
yeah.
going to lose money at first, and then everything will be okay.
Now, one good
That's
thing
the
about
plan.
AI is nobody's concerned about climate change anymore.
No, using
Well,
up
that's
farmland,
a hoax anyway.
Nothing. Right. Y'all remember,
we solved climate change.
you and
All
Sky
right.
are old enough to remember when we couldn't have suburbs, and we needed to pave less roads because we're going to pave over all the farmland. And now they're just covering the farmland with data centers and photovoltaic cells and new power plants. Apparently, all the stuff they told us for 30 years is out the window when it comes to AI.
Yes, so, well, when it comes to a whole lot of stuff,
Yeah.
Sky and I can, the older you get, the more this crap you're going to go through, unfortunately.
Yes.
Now, Bezos guy had a come to Jesus morning whenever his giant rocket blew up on the pad, destroyed the pad 2 in Cape Canaveral. If you haven't seen it, this explosion. And this is the rocket supposed to take the phase 1, 2, and 3 to the moon.
Yeah, didn't that happen right after they announced pretty much, hey, look, we're going to give all this to Bezos and Blue Origin or whatever. SpaceX doesn't need it. And then they blew up.
That was 2 days ago.
Yeah, wow.
And this is the rocket that's tasked with that. Now, what I read about this is these three moon landings are supposed to happen by the end of this year. They're going to do 3 real quick in a row.
Uh-huh.
And you got to see the cars and the experiments going with them. All you got to do is Google NASA.gov and the moon city, and you'll see all the stuff that they've already purchased, ready to go on the rockets, and it's fantastic. But the big rockets, this thing is 320 feet tall, dudes, with a crane on top of it.
Yeah.
So that's a big bubba. And this was just a test firing. So I hope he's got as quick a turnaround time as Elon Musk.
Yeah.
So, and Elon said, rockets are hard. That's what his quote was to Bezos this morning.
Rockets are hard. Well,
Yeah.
don't
Well
you think?
said. Y'all have a good
Thank you,
weekend,
Red
folks.
Top.
Thanks, man.
You too, buddy. I think it's another one of those things that we forget, Sky. Remember when the Challenger that blew up
Yes.
in the 80s?
86, January 27th.
Now, my memory's not probably right, but it was something like 1 in 27 chance or 1 in 6 chance. It was some
Very low.
very high probability that anytime you shot one of those things up, it was going to blow up and everybody was going to die. But we had become so accustomed to success that we don't realize what the risk is. You get what I'm saying?
I do. Discounted the chances. Got a little overconfident, perhaps.
And that's why when you put one of these 300-foot tall rockets on the launch pad, you fill it up full of unbelievably flammable stuff. I mean, your doggone car, we talk about it all the
It's
time
a
on
bomb.
the show.
You're sitting on top of a bomb.
That's got
Really.
hoses and valves and this and that and everywhere, and it's going to just be like you're riding an explosion all the way up into. We can't get our darn cell phone to work all day long, and we're going to build this giant candle. You're riding dynamite out of space, light it,
Light
get
it
on
on
top of
fire.
it, and then we're shocked that they keep blowing up.
Yeah.
That's what I don't get about Americans. I think it is because we have movie mindsets.
Good way to put it.
That's why we think women can just beat the crap out of men. That's why we
Can do
think. That's
anything.
why we think rockets just any of them you build, they're just going to work perfectly.
Game Boy psychosis.
Something.
I can beat anybody up.
We got to take a break. We'll be back.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. We appreciate you listening to the show. Well, golly bum, we're already at the short segment of the program. I'm looking at the lunar rovers, the moon cars, at least the pictures that they have. You know what's funny, Sky? You need to look these up.
Okay.
There's a site called jacobnick.com. That's just one of them I went to. NASA unveils next generation of moon cars as plans for permanent lunar base. There's a fascinating thing about these. See if you notice it. See if you can search. I put NASA new moon car because I'm really, really, really in depth. But check out some of the photos and pictures.
Oh, wow.
See if you see
Hey, that's pretty fancy.
Yeah, you see anything neat
Okay.
about the pictures? A lot of the pictures?
Let me get some more images here.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going.
Yeah, that's okay. You know what I'm seeing?
Give me a little more.
Why are there so many pictures of the proposed moon car that already looks like it's on the moon?
Well, yeah, that's a little abstract production value, I believe.
Yeah, you see the one that.
Oh, I see the one with the Earth in the background now. Okay.
Yes, you do.
Yeah. Okay.
You see the one? Do you see the one that looks like it has a big bubble on the front? That the landscape behind it is orange.
Yes.
You do? You see that one?
Yeah.
You know what
I'm there.
planet that looks like it's sitting on?
Is that supposed to be Mars?
No, it's somewhere on this planet, but it sure does look like the pictures of when they give us one of Mars. Does it not?
Yeah. Maybe the salt flats or something.
I'm just saying, it's interesting. Very, very interesting. I mean, some of them you can tell are just clearly renderings, but some of the things it looks like they've been using the practice version, like the bubble one that looks like some sort of submersible for the ocean on a bunch of wheels, but that one looks like it's on Mars already.
Right. It's amphibious.
That's the place where they send us the pictures of Mars from. Where is it supposed to be, in Greenland?
Right.
Just-
Yeah, the sci-fi just writes itself.
It really, really
when you look
does.
at this.
There are some cool things. There's autoevolution.com. NASA picks 2 rovers. One of them looks like a maybe a Model T that's been turned into a rover. It's pretty cool, actually.
Yeah, one looks like a dune buggy.
Yes, got
That's
the
pretty-
dune
I like
buggy
that.
look. I like
That's
that
pretty
one a
cool.
lot. Much better than the one we sent up before that was made out of old wheels and
Oh, that was just
an
a
old
jalopy,
umbrella,
man.
an umbrella for a
And you got
communications
one that
device.
looks like it's right out of 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Yeah, those look good. I like those. We're not going to get them there if we keep blowing up on the launch pad.
Yeah, to be an astronaut, you got to have the right stuff, Scott. I understand.
Literally,
Have
the
you
right
heard about
stuff.
this?
We
Yeah.
ought to they ought to make a movie about astronauts, and they ought to call it The Right Stuff.
Right, I think so.
I think they should, but no.
Can you imagine? Would you do it? If you
would
had the
I be an
opportunity?
astronaut if I had?
Yeah, if you had the opportunity to go to the moon
today.
Okay. Well, next week you have to train for a couple of days,
My
man.
kids.
Come
Not
on.
me. I'm in tip top condition,
Right.
except for that getting nauseous when things are,
Yeah.
Just let me have a window. I need a window seat. I don't
Right.
do well with those rides, where with lots of screens that make you feel like you're moving, but you're not really moving. I don't have any problem with the moving. It's when they do it, I say I don't. I don't know. I might not can take the G's.
Well,
But would I
that's
do
just
it? Would I do it today?
If you had the opportunity, you could go.
I'd give it a shot. Yep.
Yeah,
I
of
would.
course. Back in the '80s, when the space shuttle, we were all hopeful. Reagan was in the White House. We were whooping the Soviet Union, all that. ZZ Top, you've heard of them? The band.
I have.
They signed up. It's very.
They were
very
sharp
public.
dressed, right?
They were sharp dressed men.
Yes,
that's
they
right.
were. Gotcha.
They had the. Okay, enough of that. We can do that all day. All right, they signed up very publicly to catch a ride on the space shuttle.
Okay.
To the moon, actually.
They wanted to
Alice.
go ride the shuttle to the moon?
Yeah.
I don't
Well,
think
that was the whole plan. We were going to shuttle people back and forth to our moon base.
Oh, I thought we were just shuttling them up to you would launch from there and go to the moon. Okay.
Well, the ultimate goal was we would have a base on the moon, and you would trip on up there.
Yeah.
And so they're still waiting. You understand?
Yeah. Well, they
there's two of
wanted
them
them to
now,
be able to wear a mask, like,
and the beard
and it
wouldn't-
kept leaking around the beard.
Oddly enough, the one member without a beard was Frank Beard. So
No.
yes,
The one guy without a beard was called Beard.
was Frank Beard.
All right, well.
Yeah,
Did y'all
that's
know that
strange.
the Blue Origin orbital rocket is named the New Glenn in honor of John Glenn,
That's
the
pretty
NASA
cool.
astronaut who became the first American to orbit the
Orbit
Earth?
The Earth. Yeah.
Huh.
John Glenn. How
Interesting.
about that? That's pretty cool. I like
That's not a
that.
bad deal. Not a bad deal at all. Got a couple of things. Here's the update on the Tesla thing. Did a little AI search for y'all. Of course, it's referencing Reddit and Quora, so you can't trust them. Once Tesla, he called it the Mind Lab. Once Tesla conceptualized an invention, he would enter a deeply focused state. He didn't just passively imagine it; he built the machine in his mind. Okay, that's I don't have a problem with that. Here's the fun one. In his later years, Tesla expressed the belief that the human brain is simply a receiver and that a core exists in the universe from which we obtain knowledge, strength, and inspiration. He viewed his sudden burst of insight as turning into this universal transmitter. As a teenager, he used these mental trances to take journeys every night, visiting new cities, countries, and meeting people, which he later credited with sharpening his ability to visualize real-world objects.
Now, in the 70s, we call that tripping. Ours weren't nearly as productive,
I
however.
think they
It's
have a
Nikola
word
Tesla,
for that.
yeah.
It's not tripping. It's like out of body. It's spectral. I'll find out the word. But tripping
More on that later.
works for now. We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. It is a Friday here. It is the 29th day of May. We appreciate you listening to the program, and we appreciate you telling people that you listen. And, tons and tons and tons of people listen to this program, and we appreciate those of you who will recommend it to others. The Trump White House has, we were talking about demons and aliens and et cetera earlier. I don't know if y'all are aware, but aliens.gov is up.
All right.
Aliens.gov. There's been a lot of talk about it. The Trump administration came out that there was going to be a aliens.gov, whitehouse.gov/aliens is out. First thing they posted is they walk among us. There's a guy running. There's a little short video. Looks like there's a wall behind. It's almost like the border wall. Yeah, for weeks speculation had been building. This is a piece you can find who wrote this. Jim Hoft. Speculation for weeks been building after the federal government quietly registered aliens.gov domain.
Which aliens are we talking about?
Well, many Americans assumed that the site
how illegal are they?
That the president had promised to release the long-hidden government records on UFOs, extraterrestrial life, and unidentified aerial phenomena. The site opens with a dramatic typewriter-style reveal that reads like a declassified government document crossed with the X-Files. For 60 years, the U.S. government has kept a closely guarded secret. Aliens have been walking among us, living in our neighborhoods, and interacting with us in our daily lives. They've shopped in the same stores, attended the same classes as our children, and lived seemingly normal human existences. With one exception, they do not belong here. Millions arrived under the cover of darkness and embedded themselves directly into our society. Countless presidents, congressmen, and senior officials knew exactly what was happening. Instead of protecting American citizens, they chose to cover it up and even accelerate the invasion until one man finally had the courage to tell the truth. Bold, unapologetic, unafraid, President Trump was the first to call out the real danger aliens pose to every American family, every community, and the future of our nation. The truth is no longer out there. It is right here, right now. You've witnessed an alien abduction. Do not be alarmed. The alien is in good hands. We will take care of it and return it safely to its place of origin.
Okay. We've officially entered the Twilight Zone.
It finishes
can be no
up
more
with,
doubt about it.
They weren't little green men. These aliens are the millions of illegals who invaded our country under the cover of darkness. President Trump told the truth. The cover-up is over. Secure the border. Deport them all.
See, I've got it right from the start.
You had it at the start. The site features a live alien arrest map, which is real-time tracking of ICE operations, and a direct link to report suspicious aliens to the ICE tip line. It's part of enforcement dashboard, part psychological operation, 100% Trump. I wonder if it's got any music.
This is why they hate him.
Oh, that's why they hate him. Here, listen. These guys being taken up into the air. The UFO went over the border and dropped him on the other side of the fence. Can you believe that?
Yes, but no.
The UFO, the guy's kind of running, and it zaps him up, pulls him up in the tractor beam, and carries him right over the border wall and drops him down and lets him go.
Anal probe sold separately.
Yeah, you're exactly right. That's why they hate him so much.
I love it.
And that's why you gotta love. Hey, listen to this. I'm one of the few people that reads the comments. I don't want to hear other.
No, you're not. We are right there together. That's the best part.
That's the best part. I don't want to listen to other people's shows, but I want to see what the regular Americans come up with in response to these articles. This first one that I see, somebody, T-Bone Taylor, has a picture of E.T. Remember E.T. from the movie?
Phone home.
It says, the best illegal alien we ever had. Learned English and went home.
That's right. That's right. It didn't cause no trouble much either. So
He's just out riding a bicycle.
yeah.
Oh my gosh.
E.T..
Even Mr. Spock learned English. Now there's a debate whether or not Spock was legal. Spock was legal and useful. He was over 18.
Yeah, the Democrats would never let a Spock in. these days.
No. Spock
No way.
would bring value. We can't do that.
Can't have
Let's
that.
see. We didn't have to learn his language. He wanted to go home. We didn't-
Alf was a pretty good alien too.
You liked Alien?
Yeah, I like Alf. No, Alf.
I mean,
Remember him?
Alf.
Yeah, alien life form, Alf. Yeah, that was a 80s sitcom for those of you scoring at home.
All right. Do you want me to read? Okay, look. I'm going to use a word that you're not. Well, I'll change it to rejects. It's the R word. The R word that you can't say,
Got it.
and it's not racist. It is Yogi Bear and Boo Boo Bear.
A picnic basket.
Boo Boo says, Yogi, why can't the left troll or meme worth a dang? Of course, he doesn't say dang.
Yeah.
And Yogi says, because they are humorless. Humorless rejects.
That's what I'm talking about right there. Humorless. Nailed it, Boo Boo.
Oh, my goodness. Let's see. Somebody's recommending Short Circuit, but Short Circuit's going to kill us all probably. That's AI, right? Wasn't Short Circuit a robot?
Yes, I remember that one. And a heartwarming story, Scott.
Was it? Really?
Oh, it was so camp and so soapy.
It was easy. Yeah.
Yeah,
Was that the
needed a
one that
shot
had
of
the
insulin
little?
when you got rid of that one?
This one has a picture of Trump. Says, "I tick off stupid people."
Yes. There you go. Humorless, stupid people.
He has the same.
Exactly right.
I think he has my spiritual gift of hacking off people way more than I have it. I mean, Donald Trump just has a gift
Truly.
of just driving people crazy.
Truly. And
All right.
he finds that nerve and really just twists it.
And just
It's a beautiful
takes
it's a
the
beautiful
knife
thing.
and just leaves it in there. Have y'all seen the Jill Biden story? Dr. Jill Biden? Because she was a doctor. Didn't Whoopi want her to be Whoopi Goldberg wanted her to be Surgeon General, right? Because
That's
she was
correct.
a doctor.
PhD.
Whoopi didn't know that you could be a doctor of education.
That's another thing she
Yeah.
was unaware of before
Whoopi.
she spouted off. Yeah.
So the story apparently is that Joe Biden had some sort of health event after the debate with Donald Trump.
Right.
Jill Biden, in a recent interview, claimed that Biden's debate performance against Trump, quote, frightened her, and that she thought he was having a stroke when he crashed out on stage. She said, quote, I was frightened because I had never, ever seen Joe like that before or since. Never since. Jill Biden told CBS News Sunday morning's Rita Braver. As I watched it, I thought, oh my gosh. She didn't say gosh. He's having a stroke, and it scared me to death. The article here, who wrote this one? This is, let's see, Jordan Conradson. Points out that some may recall that Jill had a raving review of the debate at the Democrats' watch party immediately after it.
You don't say.
Talking to him like a 2-year-old, Jill exclaimed to her husband, Joe, you did such a great job. You answered every question. You knew all the facts. And let me ask the crowd, what did Trump do? Lie. I don't think she sounded like somebody that was worried that her husband was having.
You have to understand the script was already written before the debate began, so that no matter what happened, that was what she was going to say. Trump lied, but Joe did great.
And she says that she thought he was having a stroke. Donald Trump, in response to that interview, has said if, in fact, she did think Joe Biden was having a stroke, any good wife would have rushed onto the stage to help her troubled husband.
Thank you. And
Trump.
most bad wives would have done something
Even
as
the
well,
bad
I
wives
think.
would check
Yeah.
if you thought you had a stroke. Trump cheered on Friday that Jill Biden is finally admitting that she did not know what went wrong with Sleepy Joe during our spectacular and highly rated 2024 presidential debate, where Joe was not exactly performing to the highest level of debate standards. The only thing she failed to mention was how well I was doing prior to his near total collapse. In other words, as many have asked, did my strong performance in that debate cause him to plain and simple choke, leading to his ignominious defeat, or were other reasons the cause? Nobody else knows the answer to that, but I do.
Yes, he does.
Poor Trump.
He makes a valid point.
No, he does. He really does make a real point. I mean, he says it in a way that causes people to cringe, but he makes a valid point. We got to take another break. We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Goodness gracious, there's so much stuff to do, so many things to talk about. I was talking earlier about the comments. I'm going to start with a comment, then I'll tell you the story.
Okay.
Picture of a guy standing there. It's a picture of himself. I guess it's a picture of himself. No, it's an actor from a movie, but they've put a red MAGA hat on him. Make America Great Again hat. Says, every time I'm out, he pulls me back in.
Okay. Gangster film.
So here is the story. House Democrats have warned that Trump's budget is a, quote, out-of-control mass deportation machine.
Out of control.
Last year, Republicans gave ICE $140 billion. Now Republicans want to give ICE $70 billion more. Your taxpayer dollars are funding an out-of-control mass deportation machine. That was put out by the official Twitter X account of the House Democrats. The responses from regular people is really, really good. One guy with little ribbons stuck all over himself. That's what it's supposed to look like. Got what I voted for award again. Or got what I voted for again award.
He's got his ribbons. Okay.
This is, let's see, this one.
Nice.
Your taxpayer dollars are funding this, and there's a pretend thing at a space launch, and they're all like, yes, you know how they all, yes, 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 when the thing goes well. That's one. Here's the other one. The majority of the country voted for this, by the way. Finally, my tax dollars to a good use. If only there had been some warning. There's a picture from the convention with all these people holding up signs that say mass deportations now. This is the funniest one right here. Let's see. Let me find it for you. This person says, what I voted for. Aha. First, they came for the gypsies.
Oh, yeah. Here we go. All right.
You're going to like it.
Oh, yeah.
First, they came for the gypsies, and I said nothing, for I was not a gypsy. Then they came for the Somalians, and I said, make sure you get all the Somalians. That's terrible.
Yeah, a little twist on
That is terrible.
on the classics. Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. I'm telling you, people are unbelievably creative. It says we just now have met the levels of deportations that were going on under the under the Obama administration.
Yeah, that's hard to believe, but it is true.
Well, here
it is factual, but it was different types of deportations. And
and here's
you leave
the
out
problem.
the importations that Obama was doing as well.
Well, Obama was able to. You have to look at it like slope. Remember when you had to study for the ACT or you were in school and you had to have the formula for a slope, rise over run, and I guess there was also a place where it started. And Obama just barely had to add a little slope, okay? And it had been going up. It was going up steeply in 2000, all right? So in 2005, 2006, 2007, the line was steep. It hits Obama. Didn't Obama get elected in 08?
That's correct. Took office January of 09.
So you go to the Obama one, and all of a sudden the slope is a lot less steep. It's almost flat. So they basically kept the level of the Bush era just barely a little bit higher. Then in 09, a little higher. Then 10, just a little higher. And then there was a 2-year bump up that still wasn't as steep as the last Bush years. And now remember, Bush and Karl Rove were all for illegal aliens coming. Okay, yeah. They were fine with that. So Obama did have higher levels, but he slowed down the rate of increase of deportation. The last Bush year was like 360,000 number of formal removals, and in the high Obama year, it was 400, about 430.
Obama basically kept the same programs going because he was busy in other areas.
Yes, but
And
then
much different priorities.
What they don't talk about is in 2013, it just drops off.
Now he got to it.
Yeah, he goes from 430 back down to 400 in a year. Yes. And then in the next year, he goes from 400 to about 325. So it's just dropping off. Then you kind of kick along. And when you get to Biden year, let's see, this thing is too big. People need to know how this works. The big drop-off was 2019, which would be a Trump year. You have the COVID low in 2021. You know what the COVID low was? Less than 100,000.
No way.
So you had a high
Everything stopped.
of 430,000, you get less than 100,000. In 2021 and 2, it goes up. So I mean, it drops to nothing. So Trump went from about 110,000 maybe in 2022, and now they're at 450,000. So I mean, it's a huge, almost a straight up line, and that's part of the reason. Now this is the bad part, okay? They had to get all that stuff ramped up and going again. So when some of the Trump detractors, and I've said it and I've fallen victim to it, like, Trump's not even deporting as many people as Barack Obama did. They basically had to start from scratch. They were back down at 100,000. So if we can keep up 400,000 or 500,000 a year, we're still not going to come anywhere close to the 10 million people that Joe Biden let in. So it's incredible numbers. But the part that gives me hope is we've quit trying to be nice about it again. Now we're back. The White House is back to saying deport everybody.
And the mechanisms are in place. Just need to budget.
Yes, and that's why the Democrats are having a fit about the $70 billion, because I think that $70 billion will cause a multiplier effect where you'll get way more results on $70 billion than you did with the $100 billion to start with, because everything had to be there to build the pipeline out and get it all flowing.
Good point.
So
now it's just a matter of supplying what's been built.
Yes, that's what I think is happening. Now the machine is all put together, and now we can see it roll. But it had to have the tires put back on it. It had to have the engine put back on it. It had to be checked out. It had to become functional again, because it had been allowed since 2019 to collapse.
Yeah, the Biden administration, I remember one of their big priorities was hiring new IRS agents, and so they could investigate if you had any kind of bank deposits over $600,
yeah,
et cetera. But somehow, and that went through.
They were fine with, what was it, 80,000 new IRS agents?
That went completely through, and not a one of them caught on to any of the Somali fraud or what's going on in California. Just so...
yeah, and they're saying now...
what do we get out of our money there?
The fraud across the United States, I saw some of that, and I don't believe this could be even possible, but this person was saying the amount of fraud we could almost quit paying taxes.
Right.
Because there's so much
the federal
fraud.
Government. Yeah. Yeah.
That means that there are countless numbers of people who are just robbing us all blind, and our government has been fine with it.
Yeah, they just caught a CIA agent with $40 million in gold bars. $40 million in gold bars.
I mean, my house is stacked full of gold bars. I don't even know why people are upset about that. I mean, is that odd to you normal people? I thought everybody had $40 million worth of gold bars in their house.
Just a day at the office at the CIA.
Exactly.
They said he had to sign out for each gold bar, so I guess it's okay. And bring them back. It's like a library card.
Just when you
bring it back when you get a chance.
Overdue. I mean, my wife made me bring gold bars to the studio because she said, Scott, I'm tired of these gold bars just laying around the house everywhere. We don't have room for them. Just take them down to the office and stick them somewhere. And I was like, okay, fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I saw that story. How do you get to be a CIA agent? If Joe Blow can just check out $40 million of gold bars, what can the really corrupt 007 kind of, I'm talking about 007 level. I'm not attacking 007, but I'm that kind of smart super agent Mission Impossible guy. How much does he have at his apartment?
That's what the CIA spokesperson said. This investigation may lead to a bigger scandal. Bigger than $40 million. So, yeah, man, the country's being raped and pillaged.
You know what?
It's all our wealth is just being slacked away.
The CIA spokesman was like, "Dang, that guy's an idiot. If he stole $40 million, what are the smart guys stealing?"
Right.
God, I don't. Why do we pay taxes?
Just makes you want to scream.
You know, you're worried that you got line 27's got the right numbers in it, and you hope they don't audit you for not including your yard sale income, and they're up there with $40 million worth of gold in their house.
Another day.
We got to take a break. We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
All right, we're back. Let's get out to some of your phone calls. Let's go to, how do I say this exactly? I still don't.
It's French.
It's French. Raconteur. Do I have to do my face
much
weird
better.
like that and do the little Frenchy look? Raconteur.
No, you shouldn't have to do that.
You don't?
No.
It makes me feel better about it.
Okay.
Welcome to the program.
Mais oui, mon cher.
Yeah.
Parlez-vous
Oui.
français.
I'm going to have to wee during the break.
So remember getting your Wayback Machine and go way back. Remember there was a sensational newspaper called the National Enquirer who would enlighten us on topics such as extraterrestrial alien escapes Area 51, captured at local diner, but not before revealing that he's actually Michael Jackson's father.
yeah, I remember that one.
Elvis was cited everywhere in that magazine.
Elvis
I
was
remember
good
that.
friends
Yeah.
with aliens.
Yeah. Bat
So
Boy. Remember
inquiring
that?
minds, they had a tagline, Inquiring Minds Want to Know, and I've got some questions that Inquiring Minds want to know.
Okay.
Good.
Inquiring minds want to know why the nation of Israel that was founded over 80 years ago is illegitimate because they haven't possessed the land long enough, but the court decision of Roe versus Wade that was passed 50 years ago concerning abortion is the settled law in the land because it's been in place for so long.
Oh, that's a decent question. Okay, I'll give you that. Okay. All right. Keep going.
Inquiring minds want to know why did the people who attend the No Kings protest because Trump supposedly rules like a king willingly vote for Kamala Harris, who was appointed by the upper leaders of the Democratic Party, much like kings of old were appointed by rich nobles in their court?
That's a good question. All right. I got you.
Okay. Why do the same people like AOC who fought against the Doge attempt to uncover fraud, waste, and abuse of government funds start the End Corruption Caucus to protest the $1.8 billion of the Trump-funded settlement pool for those who are victims of government persecution?
Oh, it's really good. Well,
Yeah,
I mean,
make that one make sense.
One person's waste is another person's gold, apparently.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
$40 million. We do the gold and gold bars.
Right. One last inquiring minds want to know, why do people who support the no borders policy block telemarketers and lock their doors at night?
Oh, you're meddling now.
Just hoping somebody can provide the answers, because we don't hear much from the National Enquirer anymore.
You got it, buddy. I appreciate it. That is a rock on tour with the questions.
He's all right for a French guy.
He is. I mean, we like the French, I guess.
Okay.
Him and Pepe Le Pew.
Sure.
That's our two favorite Frenchmen.
Yeah.
What?
That's my favorite skunk, too.
What is it? Oh, what is? Oh, show more. We need to play some Pepe Le Pew just because it's
He
good
was
stuff.
misunderstood, Scott.
He was.
He was just a skunk in love.
He was very. He,
No one would say.
the Me Too movement. Never mind. Let's see. There's got to be a story here somewhere. Scott Bessent. How do you say his name? Scott
Bessent.
Bessent.
Like croissant.
The Treasury Secretary. The
day.
Treasury Secretary here in the United States. This is okay. There's a lot of talk and wringing of hands and clutching of pearls about the lack of civility in American politics. I would argue that civility went out the window a long, long time ago for leftists. They didn't care about civility. They would say whatever, and I use as my prime examples as anybody and everybody who disagrees with them is a racist, a Nazi, deserves to die, probably Hitler, maybe worse than Hitler, etc. I mean, they take it to the nth degree. And we on the right, and a lot of people in the middle that don't pay attention, seem to be fine with that. We're almost numb to that. Like we don't realize that the left is saying all those sorts of things. When Donald Trump comes along and starts fighting back, again, we clutch our pearls. We're like, oh my gosh, he just says such awful stuff. I can't believe. It was fine for the left to say it. It was fine for all the Hollywood people to say it. It was fine for all the Democrats in Washington, D.C. to say all kind of crazy, vicious stuff. But when our side starts fighting back and using the same tools, people got upset. And then we had to hear the whole thing about, well, we should act better, we should be better. And I've talked about on this show, politics is so strange in that there's this fine line between how often you say something and did you say it too much? Did it really, really work? And I've missed it a number of times. I told y'all about the campaign I was helping on one time where a guy, I like the guy, I don't have anything against the guy, but for anybody who might piece together who I'm talking about, but it's a great example, would never say that anybody thought from his political dealings that he was some big Christian crusader kind of person, that everything was banked against or compared to his Christian beliefs, and in the newspapers never would have said, "Oh, that's a crazy Christian guy. He's always trying to put his Christian beliefs on us." Those accusations were never made, and y'all know good and well that the old newspapers, if they decided that you were too Christian for them, would openly attack you for being Christian. Right?
Correct.
They absolutely
Time after
would.
time.
I've experienced it myself. So you have someone who never got that attack and running for office, and all of a sudden he starts putting out, "Hey, I'm the Christian conservative in the race," and people are like, "No, why are you doing that? I mean, that just makes no sense." Well, it turns out it made perfect sense. Because within like 2.5 weeks, the verbatim, when we ran polls, and a verbatim is where you ask the person questions, and you say, okay, well, what do when we say a candidate's name, just tell us what you think. And they say Sky Mosley, and they would go, "Oh, Christian conservative," and then all of a sudden you get the numbers back, and this huge percentage of people within 2 or 3 weeks is like identifying this guy as the Christian conservative. You're like, how does that work? It cannot be that easy. Can you just put that out as marketing and people just buy it, just sarp it up? The answer is yes.
Affirmative.
Absolutely. And so what I'm trying to say is that there is a place to understand that what Donald Trump does when it comes to the things he says that people get uncomfortable about, one of the reasons he does that and says those things is because they work and they stick. And people don't necessarily like them, but that dispersion cast upon them actually does stick. And so there's something to be said for fighting back, is my point. There is a strategy. There's a method to the madness. Do I like it all the time when he does it? No. Does he attack people that I think unfairly? Yes, he does sometimes. Sometimes he attacks people completely fairly. But it absolutely works. I'll explain the rest of it with this Beason story on the other side. He got a little sideways with the California governor and had a good line for the California governor, and you'll enjoy it. We'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politicians.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Let's get going.
Light it up,
Fantastic. Light this candle. We got one more third half of the show coming up. You don't want to miss it. I gotta do this one. I shouldn't do this one, but I've got to do this one. Are y'all familiar with the guy running for for U.S. Senate in Texas?
Texas.
So on the Republican side, Paxton beats Cornyn in the primary last week handily. It was the whole story of, oh no, now the Republican Senatorial Committee is going to have to spend millions upon millions of dollars in Texas. They would not have had to spend it if Cornyn had won, because we love Cornyn. He's such a rhino. He's one of us. He's an elitist. He's establishment. He's uniparty. But now we got this crazy Paxton guy, and we're just going to have to spend hundreds of millions to beat the Democrat Tallarico. Now, Tallarico is an interesting guy. Let me see if I can find it. I saved it for y'all. I think I took a picture. Something is reminding me of the things that Tallarico. Here it is. Okay. This Benny Johnson put this out. Now, this is the guy who won the nomination on the Democrat side. He beat Jasmine Crockett. Y'all remember Jasmine?
I remember that. Oh, yes.
These are some of the things that Tallarico, this is a Texan, okay? Tallarico thinks God is non-binary. Now, I can send you to the clips of these things so that you can make sure that they are true. Some of them are so crazy that you're not even going to believe this is even possible, that anyone gets the nomination in Texas, even as a Democrat who believes these things. He used the Bible to say that the Virgin Mary would support abortion. He declared that Jesus Christ was a radical feminist, says that atheists are more Christ-like than Christians. He called men and women's sports, people being upset about men and women's sports, a far-right conspiracy. He thinks illegal aliens are more patriotic than Americans. He believes that there are 6 biological sexes, which is not going to be enough for some of the crazies on the left, but he believes there's 6. He posted guides on how to evade ICE. He called the border a giant welcome mat. He wants to abolish prisons. When asked what he thinks about besides family, he said trans kids. And he's trying to convince the people of Texas that he is a moderate. So that is who this guy is. Now somebody did say, let me see if I can find that statement here. Hold on. Where is it? Okay. Do y'all remember James or what was his name? Beto. What was Beto's first name? Beto O'Rourke.
Man, yes, exactly.
That ran against Ted Cruz, and he was.
That's been a while.
Oh, it's been a while, and we called him like Beta O'Rourke.
Right, the jokes.
That kind of stuff.
Wrote themselves.
Listen to this.
Is he back? Yeah.
All right, so Tallarico says that Ken Paxton, who's the Republican, is throwing everything he has at us. This is Tallarico's Twitter X account. He's called me a radical leftist. He called me a fake Christian. Well, I mean, if you think the Virgin Mary would be for abortion and that God is non-binary and that Jesus was a radical feminist, some of those things, that might be fair.
That could stick.
He says he's even called me a vegan.
Oh, not that.
Now, listen to Tallarico. I'm an 8th generation Texan, which, by the way, I want y'all to understand. And when you hear this, I want y'all to understand there is a national strategy going on. And I'll tell you why. They believe, and I think there's a reasonable idea of this, that there is a movement among Americans to get credibility for how long your family has been American, okay? And people are kind of being against this whole thing. Hey, look, you're a first-generation American. I don't even know if you actually love America. Did you just come here for the benefits? Did you just come here for the money? Did you just come here for the easier life? Do you really want to be Americans? But there's this undercurrent in the United States of hey, look, I don't know about the new guys. I don't know if the new guys are really really for us. So there is a clear strategy among political consultants, because I'm seeing it all over the country, to talk about how long your family has been in America or been Americans. Tallarico says he's an 8th generation Texan. I'll give you a great example. What's his name? In the debate the other day, Jared Hudson said something about how he's a 7th generation American. Now,
Okay,
now
so
I
we
want
have a
y'all
trend
to
going
just
on
calm. Yeah, just calm it down. I'm not denigrating anybody. I'm not denigrating Jared. Jared's a friend of mine. But I'm just saying, note, what are the chances that just organically James Tallarico is telling how he's an 8th generation Texan at the same time as a guy who doesn't have a lot of political experience? He's a newcomer to it, is saying similar things about his family history. I think it's a smart political move. I'm just saying, note that the chances of those two diametrically opposed people are using the same arguments for, hey, I'm the real deal. Don't think that's not being told by political consultants.
I wonder if they have the same marketing team.
They probably do not, but they have the same.
Still, they have the same philosophy
team,
and the strategy.
The team buys the same kind of information from people who advise.
Focus groups.
Yes, who advise campaigns. This is the
will
kind
play.
of thing you should say. Now, I don't know if Tallarico's got Republican consultants or if our guy, the Alabama guy, has Democrat consultants, but there are consultants that are just mercenaries and help everybody as well, okay?
Okay.
Their job is to win elections. I'm just saying, take note of how many times something that you never hardly ever heard, because it used to be kind of a faux pas in America.
Right. Exactly.
But now in 2020,
it came and it went, and now it's
and now in
back.
2026, it's back to, oh well, I'm more American than you are because my family's been here for blank generations. Okay, that's because there is an undercurrent of, hey, I don't care if you did come here 20 years ago. Are you really American? Do you really love America? And so there's this founding generation argument. Heritage Americans, I think, is one of the words they're using right now. So just note that he's using it. But Tallarico says, I'm an 8th generation Texan. I've been eating barbecue since Ken Paxton's first indictment.
Okay. That's a score. Okay.
Oh yeah, I mean that was a
Points
pretty
on
good. That was a pretty good hit. Now the funny thing about this, listen to the headline on this article. I can't find the person who said it. They were asking about Tallarico, and somebody said, "quote He's a gayer version of Beto."
Oh man! Ouch! Oh
Oh my
man!
gosh!
That hurt.
The fact that some of
That
these
hurt
things
his generation like 3 to 4 down the road, man.
gayer
his
version of
ancestors.
Beto. I mean, if you want to be more
Brutal.
somebody else called him Timu Beto.
Wow.
That is
Things are
rough.
heating up in Texas. Yeah.
This guy says, yeah, but you hold your ribs with a napkin, son. You're dismissed.
Oh my. Okay. This is the best part of politics. to
Oh,
me.
my
I enjoy
gosh.
this. Too much. Way
Hey,
too much.
When Paxton said the things about him, somebody put, you are literally all of those things and a charlatan.
Now this is where your thought about dueling coming back
Yes.
could really pay off right here.
Here's the rest of it. It was Green Beret Nap Time on X. Said, being okay with grooming kids, he said trooning because he can't say grooming apparently, and open borders is radically left, you gayer version of Beto.
Man.
They're going to have a real race in Texas. That's going to be fun because Paxton will just go after it, and Tallarico is crazy and will say anything. So
We're gonna have to have daily updates on this.
yeah,
Clearly.
we're going to have to follow Texas because it's going to be more fun than Alabama. We got to take a break. We'll be back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
Welcome back in, everybody. I just wonder if my wife ever looks at the YouTube and she's like, why are you wearing those Gomer Pyle-looking glasses? Because my eyes are burning out. I'm telling you, I've got too many screens.
Yeah.
And then what is it? Ann
years.
wanted me to turn on these ring lights or whatever you call these things to make the picture look better. I do think we got to get rid of the lights that are shining right on top of my white balding head.
Yeah, it gives kind of an odd dimension. It looks like your hair never begins, but your forehead never ends.
Yeah. I was hoping you would go with it appears as a halo, but no, you went
No.
Your forehead never ends and your hair never begins. Thank you, Sky. Thank you. I hope you're nicer to April Marie next week than you are to me. Oh, I'm sure it's going to be, y'all are going to have the best time. That's all right. I'm going to be gone for a week, and I will be back. Last thing on the Texas race.
Okay.
And this is how these big-time races apparently work. Now the Democrats in Texas are attacking Paxton, saying that he was soft on some child abuser in court, and that's just apparently not the case. But that's what Democrats are trying to say, is that Paxton worked out some sort of secret deal. And Sarah, what's her last name? Sarah Fields points out the fake narrative about Ken Paxton and the Adam Hoffman case is pure election year smear. The case went to a full trial. There was a hung jury, 7-5, leaning toward guilty. The child victim refused to testify again. The parents prioritized his mental health, which I can fully understand. What my long, but short amount of experience with any trial, there is very little effort to get to the truth when it comes to some of these kinds of things. Witnesses are there to be destroyed, all under the guise of, we're doing everything in our power to make sure that an innocent person is not found guilty. Okay, fine. Look, I get it. But it goes way beyond, are you lying or you're not, okay? I can only imagine how terrible it would be in one of these kind of trials. The local DA recused himself. Paxton's office negotiated a plea agreement to misdemeanors. That was after the DA recused. The judge rejected the initial terms and imposed a 60 days in jail. Hoffman ultimately served 29 or 30 days with good time. Paxton did not personally cut some secret deal. prosecutors were forced to make a difficult call in a case involving a reluctant victim. And so et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So the Democrats are using it, and here's the bottom line. She says, Paxton has filed more lawsuits aimed at protecting children than almost any attorney general in the country. There's just no comparison. And she points out, she says, I have personally been present in committee hearings when Tallarico argued in favor of pornography in front of children under the guise of the First Amendment. He also supports the mutilation transition of children.
Of course.
But they're out attacking Paxton. Now, why would they attack Paxton? Because they need Paxton's base to say, oh, Paxton's not as good as I thought he was, and to stay home.
Exactly. Disinterested.
That's what they do. They want to poison the well.
I'm just not going to vote at all.
And that's
So
the way
disgusting.
that a Tallarico can end up winning, which is why the other day when I was saying the Massey election in Kentucky was weird, because negative campaigns usually lead to voter suppression. Now, negative ads do move the voters, but it usually causes a good percentage of people to say, the heck with it, I hate them both, they're all terrible, I'll stay home. That usually helps Democrats, because Democrats have a built-in base that's not paying attention. They vote people's ballots. The establishment Republicans do the same thing. You can't turn off and suppress a ballot that you're faking the voter anyway, right? You get what I'm saying?
I do, and some of their voters even overcome death to vote.
They do.
You can't stop them.
I mean, there is such a thing as reincarnation.
Yeah.
As long
we
as you're
call
voting.
it reincarnation here in the South.
Reincarnation.
Yeah.
But so just know that the goal is to make people not like Paxton. You know, they don't need you to be for Tallarico. Tallarico's going to get his votes.
Right.
People that don't pay attention, people that don't actually go vote, people that doesn't even know that they got a mail-in ballot are voting for Tallarico.
That's what I was trying to say.
Yes.
Yeah,
These people don't even know they're voting for Tallarico, but they're for Tallarico.
What's the polling looking like?
I don't know.
I'll look
The
at
national polling, they're going to say it's close, like they did when Beto O'Rourke and Cruz were running. They're going to say it's close, say it's close, say it's close, and then they're going to go, in an unbelievable surge on the last 2 days, Paxton made up 27 points. You got to keep it close. I mean, look at the race in Alabama. I mean, straight out of the chute. Hudson's campaign says, or the Super PAC says, man, he's winning. I'm like, you were down like 15 or 20 points. I don't think you're winning today. You might win on election day, but you're not winning today. But again, people look at people that don't pay attention, people that don't listen to this show are like, wow, everybody must be, I think I'll be blank. And that's how it works. Everything is about moving people in a candidate's direction. Everything is. You think you see something that's not partisan, Scott. Oh, no, that polling is used to make you want to be on the bandwagon, make you want to be on the winning side, make you think a candidate is right there, maybe send him a check. That's the way all this stuff is done. I wish it wasn't, but it's not. I mean, what do they say? What's the quote? You don't think that's the way it is, but it do.
But it be.
But it be.
People don't think that.
Let's go to
it's an emotional response is triggered.
Yeah, that's why people say democracies are not good. Democracies are mob rule. Mob rule is emotional response. The argument
that's
is
the baseline
that oligarchs, very, very wealthy people, maybe they're international bankers or whatever, love democracies because the decisions are made based on emotional appeal. And emotional appeal is driven by advertising and by owning the media outlets.
And it's easy to manipulate.
You tell people how they should feel, and then they turn the ship towards their feelings, and then you get what you want. That is what the fear of democracies are. And as the world became more, quote, democratized, we began to make poorer and poorer decisions
And we're tracing that back to approximately 1919 with the emotional charge. And
Sky, I'm offended. And no, I did not say that. You
done.
said that.
See
I
what
want to
you've
take a
done.
break. I can't work in this environment. We'll be right back.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
Alabama Unfiltered Radio with Scott Beason.
All right, we are back. Super quick. Let's go to Charles the First of Dewey. Charles the First, welcome to the program.
Hey, Scott, you think April's going to be able to handle me calling next week there?
Well,
you know how I am about these.
She'll be able to handle it. Sky's going to be there. They're going to have a full team effort.
Sure.
You know, I used to call her show, and I talked about a song, You're So Vain, one morning, the next morning, and she said, oh, my gosh, I just sang that to my daughter. Are you in my house?
Gotcha.
So that was really interesting. But what I was going to tell you is I've been really researching the whole, did you see where Clarence Thomas has ordered the plaintiffs to have their reason why the map shouldn't be used by 10 o'clock on Tuesday?
I saw something I thought it said early next week, but so Thomas said for
the day.
So now who's got to have their paperwork? Because when these things happen, I lose track of who the plaintiff is and who's not, or the appellate person is.
Yeah, and I looked at it real quick. It looked to me like some of them that's running for office and different stuff like that. I couldn't remember all their names. You know, it's like, weird last names and stuff to me, okay?
Okay.
So it wasn't, and I didn't see Clemens on there, although I think he's probably helping him. But here's what I want to come at you with, because, Scott, I do know that if something is seen in a different way or can be argued in a different way, that you let it be on your show and you deal with it, okay?
Oh, well, I appreciate you saying
that. You did that. Yeah, and so this is what I'm going to come at you with. Now, remember, you know how gung-ho I am about this situation, even to have watched it back at the special session in 2023. You do realize I would have done that, right?
Say that again now. If you'd have done what?
I would have been paying attention to that special session in 2023, which I did.
The redistricting one, yes.
Yes, the mapping one where they allowed other things to take place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, okay.
Now, I want you to pretend like you're the judge on the 3-judge panel, and I want you to look up what I'm about to tell you is what happened, okay?
All right.
The very first thing on the docket that day, and it's in both dockets, that's the problem. It's SB1. SB1 in special session 2023, and SB1, it's a different one in 2026, and you look them up, and they're by the same Gulf Coast person. Now,
which is kind of normal that you have if you're doing a reapportionment special session, it's usually the bill is titled 1, whether it starts in the Senate or the House, and it's usually sponsored by whoever the chairman of the reapportionment committee is. So that would make perfect sense. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, and this same person is causing the difficulties in both cases here, okay? We wouldn't be going through, and we could have a 7-0 map if it was not for these actions, okay?
Okay.
Now, listen, you're the senator or legislator, okay?
Okay.
That does not want your area touched ever on Earth. And you know that Arlington Heights is going to be looked at on this, on what's happening here. Would you not agree that if you're a legislator, you know you're going to be looked at?
All right, I'm going to tell you this. I would know that after my experiences, but I'm not convinced that all these legislators know that, okay? Some of them want to be on reapportionment so they can do nothing more than defend their own district when it comes to the Senate maps. So I can't say that I absolutely jumped to the conclusion that whoever you're even talking about, and I don't know who it was, knew that he was going to be subjected to these. Now, the legislature shouldn't put somebody in charge that doesn't know that, but I know good and well the legislature would allow that to happen in a heartbeat.
Well, part of it, I learned 2 things as I researched this. I learned what a dog whistle is and what wedging is as far as a legislature, okay?
Okay.
And, okay, so what if I hypothetically told you, which is going to turn out to not be hypothetical, that the first thing that this same person in both instances did was go up with SB1 that says, I am going to take money from the board where the highest person in civil rights that's still alive is in Alabama government. His name is Frank D. Gray.
Okay.
And he has a pretty good list. It ain't just anything you can overlook.
Okay.
So at this mapping thing, you go up and say, I am wanting to remove monies from his, or it would be directly him and him getting any money, okay? That actually, if you really think about it, was wanting to harm someone for not being discriminatory enough. Okay?
Okay.
Now, not only that, in between 2023 and 2026, he actually puts forth legislation that will completely eliminate Fred D. Gray's position and job to make it no longer exist.
Okay.
And Fred, So listen, would you not think that would be something that you wouldn't do when you are a main thing there that you're taking up the time for, with this being the first thing, and that you've already proposed what you want to be your map that saves your Gulf Coast area, to not have anybody else look at anything else? And if any Republican conservative spoke up to say something about it, you would say they're being woke. Have you got me? That's called wedging. And all of that actually took place that I'm saying right there. And you can look it up by looking up SB1 2023 special session, which, if you want to get down to it, that actually has to do with the gay, lesbian, whatever you want to call it, at the History and Archives. Okay. Now, hang on just a minute.
Well, we don't have much time. You got to hurry up because we're running out of time.
You've got Scott Bessent, and you could see in the future somebody giving him an award. So the same difference of somebody giving somebody an award that didn't cost anybody anything in the state of Alabama, but to come back and try to take monies and the jobs of the highest-ranking black person in office that would absolutely have a reason to be in History and Archives just because of his own history would be something that is blatantly being discriminatory of black persons during a mapping. That you continually are the one that has pushed this to be where it is
I got
the whole
you.
time
I got
and
you.
all along.
Well, it's because people don't realize they think all these cases are rule based purely on the facts, and they're not. Because remember, judges can see in people's hearts. We got to take a break. I won't be here next week. Y'all are going to have a great time. Be careful. Be safe. Have a great weekend. See y'all.
Scott Beason, president of ARP, Alabama Recovering Politician.
To Alabama.